Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of The Daily. It's Friday, April 8th, here with Greg Lawless. I'm Nick Fershaw, and Greg, we want to take a look at a full slate of games this weekend, starting with Friday night. It's the Colorado Rapids at FC Dallas. This is a rematch of the MLS Cup from 2010. There'll be a live chat on MLSsoccer.com, and that game's also on Fox Soccer. But what do you see when you look at this one?
Well, I think this is going to be a very tense match, especially for FC Dallas. Look, no wins on the season so far. They also feel like they should have won MLS Cup last year, so a little bit of the revenge factor in here. Kevin Hartman coming out and saying they play better when they've got some of their feathers a little bit ruffled. So we'll see if FC Dallas can get a little bit more going forward.
And for the Colorado Rapids, again, Connor Casey going to sit this one out. Caleb Folan, who scored 2 goals last week in a win over DC United, expect him to get the start. Moving on to Saturday night's game, a big one. The Philadelphia Union hosting the New York Red Bulls. That one's at 7 p.m. on ESPN2 and ESPN Deportes. A live chat for that one as well on MLSsoccer.com. This is the first game of this rivalry for 2011. What do you expect?
Well, you know, we're talking about rivalries all season long so far when you think about what's going on with the Cascadia Cup in the Pacific Northwest. But this actually is a rivalry that's beginning to build. They've only had 1 year so far, and it's building more and more. The Philadelphia PPL Park and Red Bull Arena are actually the two closest stadiums between two teams in MLS, other than the Home Depot Center, which is shared by the Galaxy and Chivas USA. Now, what do I expect? I think that New York, they need to get the ball to Thierry Henry. That's what Coach Hans Backe said. He needs it in better situations. So Dwayne De Rosario, most likely going to get the start this time in the midfield for them. On the other side, Philadelphia, they need to start creating more chances. Only 2 goals in their first 3 matches. Danny Mwanga and Sebastian Letou, no goals between them. And Carlos Ruiz, the big name signing from the offseason, only 1 goal. So I think Peter Novak's looking for more chances and to put them away. And
again, that game at 7 p.m. Eastern on Saturday night. You can join a live chat here on MLSsoccer.com, get together with all the supporters. Want to mention another game at 7:30. This one is interesting to me. DC United playing host to the LA Galaxy. Greg, this is a DC United team we don't know that much about. A large part of their offense contingent on Charlie Davies. And for the Galaxy, mixed results so far this season.
Yeah, we don't know where Davies is going to go. He did not travel last weekend. I can imagine, though, that he's going to be ready this time to come out and play against the Galaxy. Whenever the Galaxy come into town, obviously, everybody's up for it. So you wonder for the Galaxy, though, where is David Beckham going to play? He was in the center of the midfield last week in the win against Philadelphia. Odds are he's going to be there again. In fact, some of his teammates are saying you can expect him to be in the center again. He was sort of running the attack. On the other side, speaking of running the attack, I think it comes down to Boskovic. Can the designated player slide into the middle and be that playmaker that DC United need, getting the ball up to the forwards in the right places? He's done well in the Reserve League. He played well in their Open Cup match over in midweek, so I expect him to maybe get some more time.
One last game we want to take a look at, and it's the Sunday night game. Houston Dynamo playing host to the Vancouver Whitecaps, 7 p.m. Eastern on Galavision. And Greg, this is a Whitecaps team. Every game is different with these guys, but it's always dramatic. They're away from Empire Field, so hopefully there's a little more sanity in this one. What do you expect?
Well, obviously no Eric Hasley again up top. He got the red card in the draw with New England. Vancouver pretty disappointed to give up that stoppage time equalizer to the Revolution, but they go down to Houston and they will have a couple guys back who are important. Omar Salgado back from the US U20s after they were ousted from the CONCACAF Championship. Also Russell Tebert, the Canadian international, back from the U20 Championship as well. So those guys will help. Also, Jay Demerit says he's going to be likely to go. So that's another big pickup in their backline. For Houston, they're feeling very confident. After that draw at New York, when they came back to get the equalizer, Cam Weaver probably going to start now that Brian Ching isn't going to be able to go.
And again, that game, 7 p.m. Eastern, Sunday night down in Houston. Want to switch topics to the 2011 Sueno MLS presented by Allstate. Greg, more than 400 young athletes down in Dallas trying out for a spot eventually maybe on an MLS team. Always exciting to see these guys get at it.
Yeah, and Sueno now up for 5 years, and they've had some great success. You think about Jorge Flores out at Chivas USA, Gabriel Funes Mori, who's with the Argentina under-20 team and River Plate down in Argentina. And last year's winner is now the captain of the under-16 team for the Houston Dynamo. So obviously some talent coming out of that. And you know, it starts in Dallas, 400 kids there, and then next weekend it'll be in Chicago, and the weekend after that in Philadelphia.
And the reigning MVP, David Ferreira, going to be down there in Dallas. One last thing before we take off, the Extra Time Radio podcast from Thursday. This was a good one. Some supporters from New York and Philadelphia going at it. Barely good enough to put it on the air.
Lots of respect
for
each other.
Barely clean enough to put it on the air. And Real Salt Lake owner Dave Checketts joined us. He's on his way to Mexico.
Yeah, he's so excited about what Real Salt Lake did in the Champions League. He was trying to explain it to some of his other colleagues in other sports. Some of them got it, some of them didn't. But he was very excited about the let's say, the loss in Saprissa that actually won it for Real Salt Lake. He was at a bar in San Francisco, got the whole bar behind RSL, and now he's headed to Monterrey.
Again, you can catch the latest edition of the ETR podcast on Buzzsprout and iTunes. And for all the previews of a full slate of games this weekend, check out MLSsoccer.com.